Fast, frantic, but perfectly practical, the Audi RS4 remains the market's definitive mid-sized high-performance estate. In this B9 series, guys, this Ferrari for families swaps its old V8 for a 2.9-litre V6 and an even more sophisticated Quattro four-wheel drive system that sets this model apart in its unique little niche. As before, it can hit 174 miles an hour on the Nürburgring, but is just as happy collecting your dry cleaning. You only truly get a sense of just how fast it is by following behind in something else. At which point, whatever that might be, it'll be hard not to wish you were in an RS4. This car, you see, is one of a kind.
Not a lot prepares you for just how quick this car really is. To be specific, rest to 62 occupies just 4.1 seconds, which is 0.6 of a second quicker than the previous generation model, and it's also a fraction quicker than you'll go in this model's closest rival, the Mercedes-AMG C63 estate. As usual with fast Audis, the maximum speed is rather pointlessly capped at 155 miles an hour, although in this case you can pay Ingolstadt an obscene amount of money to get that restrictor lifted, in which case your RS4 will top out at 174 miles an hour. The creamy, rather digitalised engine soundtrack that you get as the revs rise from this 4th generation RS4's new 450 PS 2.9-litre V6 isn't a match for that of the previous model's 4.2-litre V8. After a while, though, you rather warm to the way that this Porsche-developed power plant snarls purposefully on upshifts and then lets out little pops and bangs as you snick the steering wheel paddle shifters down through the closely stacked ratios of the 8-speed Tiptronic gearbox. This RS4 also tackles the turns more effectively this time around. Now, part of that is down to the redeveloped Quattro system, which usually directs 60% of torque to the back wheels, but if conditions demand it, it can send up to 85% of power to the back, or if necessary, as much as 70% to the front. Now, the setup's been designed to work with a torque vectoring system, and that applies minimal brake interventions to the wheels on the inside of any given curve before they start to spin, maximising traction and making handling more precise, agile and stable. Also playing its part here is the standard fit sport differential, which at speed through tight corners can constantly vary the amount of torque that's distributed to each of the rear wheels. As usual with Audi, there's a drive select driving mode system, and that enables you to tweak the steering, the throttle response, the stability control thresholds and the impact of that sport differential system. It'll also alter suspension feel if you paid extra for adaptive damping. As for efficiency, well, the switch from V8 to V6 power this time around has improved things here by around 25%, 32.1 mpg being possible on the combined cycle, along with 199 grams per kilometre of CO2. The exterior design of the RS4 has always been about blending just the right amount of discretion and purpose. Now, appropriately, aesthetic inspiration came from a competition model, Audi's 90 Quattro IMSA GTO Racer. Time to take a seat in the front, where you'll find yourself in a cabin that we think will really sell you this car. It incorporates plenty of elements designed to set this RS4 model apart from humbler A4 variants. This flat-bottomed RS Sports leather steering wheel is of course bespoke, so are the stainless steel pedals. We really like the seats. They're anatomically shaped and electrically adjustable, plus they incorporate a standard massage function, and they're perfectly positioned in front of the wheel through which you view the all-digital Audi virtual cockpit. Now, you might be familiar with this Audi virtual cockpit setup from some of the brand's other models. Here it's standard 12.3-inch LCD colour monitor, which replaces the usual instrument binnacle dials with a layout which is fully digital and customisable, using smart 3D graphics and highly detailed effects. Anything the virtual cockpit setup can't tell you will almost certainly be covered off by the slimline MMI infotainment display that dominates the top of the dashboard. Now, appropriately, this flagship model includes Audi's top MMI Navigation Plus with MMI Touch package with its 8.3-inch monitor, and it features crisp 3D maps and responsive NVIDIA graphics. Let's take a seat in the rear. Now this is where, theoretically, you ought to most notice the benefit of the extra 12 millimetres of wheelbase length that this 4th generation B9 series model enjoys over its predecessor. Audi says there's 23 millimetres more legroom back here than there was before, but to be frank, it really doesn't feel that much bigger. Still, 3 adults are very rarely carried at the back of this kind of car, and 2 will be as comfortable as it's possible to be in a mid-sized, high-performance model of this sort. Finally, let's take a look at the luggage area, and that's accessed, as you'd expect, by a powered tailgate. Raising the hatch reveals that this B9 Series RS4 model's extra 26mm of length has freed up 15 litres more boot space than before. The total now rises to a class-leading 505-litre figure. Never mind the R8 supercar or the TT Coupe, if you want to understand just how brilliant Audi can be in building a sporting car, the RS4 has long been the best barometer. Is it still, though, in this 4th generation B9 series, guys? Well, in some ways, yes. Like many, we miss the previous model's high-revving 4.2-litre V8, but there is little doubt that the replacement V6 Porsche power plant, although it's less hourly emotive, has more real-world punch. That seems appropriate in such a resolutely real-world performance car. Drive it and you'll experience a slightly guilty thrill, as if something this much fun really couldn't be legal. One day, cars like this might well be legislated out of existence. In the meantime, enjoy this one while you can.